time, the Giants play good all year at home. It's just when y'all go on the road with the Giants.
Well, they beat the Saints on the road. They beat the Saints for the first time since 1993, and I never thought the Giants were going to beat the Saints. And then granted they didn't finish, but they had the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs on the ropes. It's just the Giant defense didn't finish the game. This is the thing that the Giants have to learn how to do, and this is what Joe Judge is being criticized for: learning how to finish football games. If they did that. That NFC East is a whole nother story, but as Bill Parcells once said, you are what your record is. The Giants are 3-6 for a reason. They still have to learn how to finish football games, but they did finish that football game yesterday.
Yeah, hey, absolutely. King Savage. Hold on. Hey, King Savage.
And I gave that defense credit. The defense looked really good yesterday.
Daniel Jones credit too, because he didn't lose us the football game. Give him his credit. Give him his flowers while he's here. Daniel Jones.
Speaking of flowers, you see Nick Sirianni got flowers thrown at him after that game.
Oh my God!
We gonna get into that.
He should have.
Hey, King Savage, I'm definitely gonna be eating me turkey and ham while y'all do beat up on the Cowboys. I will be going for the rated Cowboys then. But if you guys want to join this debate, hey, make sure you call in on this number down here, man. Call in
267-957-1431. Y'all definitely can call in and give y'all opinions on the games and how y'all feel about the NFL recap of Week 9. So make sure y'all call in and tap in if y'all want to talk to us on the show.
Back to this Cowboy game though, the Cowboys allowed almost 200 yards rushing,
407 yards, 407 yards total they allowed to Denver. Yes. That is a lot of goddamn yards for a Denver offense. So. Like I said, man, just like that man said from the Cardinals, Dallas, they are who we thought they were. Just a fraud team, and they will always find a way when they got momentum to kind of stink up the joint and let you down and let them down. And Denver came out, they outplayed Dallas, and goddamn, I mean, Tim Patrick just took goddamn Diggs to school yesterday. He just took Diggs to school yesterday, just killed him.
He couldn't hold him.
Hey, you guys, did the Cowboys win yesterday? Or did they lose?
I think they got scared because the Undertaker actually showed up to the building. I think they got scared.
Oh yeah, that's what I think it was too.
Yeah.
No. Listen, you guys, I'm asking a real question because normally on a Sunday, I have so many Cowboy fans that call me.
In my inbox.
They'll text me. They'll text me on Facebook, tag me in posts. I can see my friends' posts. I didn't see none of that yesterday, so I'm just asking.
You can't find them. You can't find them. You can't find them when they lose.
They hard to find. Cowboys fans on my timeline. They were nowhere to be found.
They went under last night.
They don't. Yeah,
Kick the Rocks. They went under last night after they got their ass handed to them by the Denver Broncos.
It was a quiet Sunday. It was a
very quiet Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Freddie hollering at everybody.
They almost got shut out at home. They almost
at home. I know.
All of a sudden they win. They start coming out of the cereal boxes and stuff. When they lose, you don't show them. You don't see them anymore.
Hats and the cowboy food. How about them Cowboys? Until January, and then you're the little cupcake boys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's cool. But let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this. Being that they, like I said, being that they did get exposed, the Cowboys, do y'all feel like, the Cowboys being that they got exposed, do y'all feel like we're about to see the Cowboys decline after this loss to the Denver Broncos?
No.
We talked about it on the show last week, Bishop, that Dallas plays terrible in November.
They do.
It's November, and that's what it looks like starting off with the Denver Broncos.
No.
First game within November.
Bishop, we don't.
And then they got the Falcons next, and then they go to the Chiefs, and then they got the Raiders, and then they go to the Saints, and then they go to Washington. They come here to Jersey. They play Washington again. They play the Cardinals, and they play at Philadelphia. So we might see the real Dallas Cowboys show up.
No, we don't want this to happen. We don't want this to happen. I want them to get back to winning. We need them to win. We need them Cowboy fans to start feeling themselves again, start smelling themselves, thinking that they that it. We need that. I need that. I don't want them to lose right now. I want them to get ready to lose where December come, when January come, so I can have my Christmas present, where I can come on and have my laugh. Because you know what? The fall will be here. The fall will come. Because they will fold like cheap tents that they are.
So I mean, we do play them 6 days before Christmas in Jersey here. I'm just saying we play the 6 days, and then they go to they play Washington the day after Christmas. So I mean, that could be 2 Christmas presents of losses for the Cowboys.
So let me ask y'all this: what do y'all feel was the biggest upset or the surprise game of the whole entire weekend?
Man, my upset was the Bills and Jaguars. Oh my God, the Bills didn't even score a touchdown in that game. That was just Josh Allen just had a atrocious performance yesterday
against Josh Allen.
One of the Josh Allens had an atrocious performance.
Josh Allen,
the quarterback Josh Allen. The quarterback Josh Allen.
Yeah. Josh Allen. It was a Josh Allen show.
Basically, he beat himself. He beat himself. Basically,
For me, even though it was the Bills and Jaguars, but the Falcons beating the Saints in New Orleans.
That was a shocker too.
That was one for me. I did not expect the Atlanta Falcons without a Calvin Ridley to score 27 points on a top 5 defense in the New Orleans Saints.
But like we said, last week, it's a division game, so it was bound to happen. It wasn't going to just be an easy cakewalk.
But we all know, everybody knows Matty Ice ain't the Matty Ice of old, man. Like, there is no way the Falcons. I mean, don't get me wrong. We do know that the Saints is without their starting quarterback in Jameis. But still, we talking about Matty Ice, man. We talking about the Atlanta Falcons who allowed the Tampa Bay to come back on the Super Bowl.
I mean, but if you look at the Falcons roster, it's not actually their receiving core. In running back situation, they're not that bad. They can actually put a point like Matt Ryan still can get the job done. He's a former MVP. And you still got Cordell Patterson, who's having a blast over there in Atlanta. Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts. They got some capable guys. We just all thought that defense was gonna. They just had the defensive pieces, and they just got shredded yesterday. They just got outplayed yesterday.
They did. I mean, don't get me wrong. Trevor Siemian was 25 for 41, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I mean, it ain't like he had a horrible game. You know what I'm saying? He definitely had a good game. He almost threw for 300 yards. Alvin Kamara was 13 for 53 and a half, almost 4 yards per carry. Mark Ingram was 9 for 43, 5 yards a carry. So I mean, it was a good game. Put it like that. It was a good game. Like you said, it was a division game. They played each other. A lot of us just expected the Saints to come out and get that win. Trevor just couldn't bring them out this week, like last week. And Atlanta had something to look at in regards to Trevor Siemian to be able to get that win over New Orleans. I think my biggest upset of game of the week was what game was that? It was so many. I could pick.
Titans Rams was one.
Titans and Rams definitely. Titans and Rams.
The Browns beating the Bengals.
Nico Archie did a thing to that offensive line.
Now the Browns Bengals game. Now, to mind you, that Browns Bengals game, that wasn't an upset for me because I personally said that I'm sorry, Baker Mayfield. Here we
go. The OU bias.
No. Keep it 100. Keep it 100, Trey. Baker Mayfield? Now that once OBJ left, it showed Baker Mayfield was airing that ball out, bro. He aired that thing out.
But they had a hell of a running game too. On top of that, they had a hell of a running game.
Nick Chubb showed up, bro.
Don't get me wrong. Nick Chubb had 137 yards rushing. He on 10 yards of carry, bro. 10 yards of carry. That's crazy. That's a first down.
That'll win against anybody.
That's a first down every time he touched the ball.
Every time he touched the ball, bro. That's the first down. Which is crucial. But that again, what does that do? That opens up the pass game. When you got a running back who's averaging almost a first down every time he touches the ball, that's bringing everybody up so that Baker can throw the deep ball over the top. And it just shows now it goes back to that question in which we asked on Friday. Was OBJ the problem?
Please don't get Freddie riled up. Please.
I'm just saying. I mean, he never fit to begin with. I mean, they tried to force feed that piece of that Browns offense because him and Jarvis were friends.
Best friends at LSU. Yep.
But at the same time, it's just OBJ never fit that offense, and he really never fit the offense once Kevin Stefanski took it all over and made that team into like his vision. It was a matter of time. Odell pulled the old Odell and started whining, and Baker just kind of got.
What did you say?
What?
Doug? Not Doug. What whining did Odell really do?
We have the same.
No, what whining? Like, because honestly, I think Odell handled it perfectly fine because
off social media, but he was literally.
But he didn't do what he did in New York.
Games saying trade for me. Hey guys, trade for me. Like, come on. If Odell is in a situation that he doesn't want to, he makes it known. If you don't see it on social media, he finds a way to make it known that he wants out of there. He literally said that he got sent to Cleveland to die. Okay, that's all you need to know. I mean, it's not like he said, "Yeah, I'm going to Cleveland to win myself a championship and have a statue built outside." No, I got sent to Cleveland to die because he didn't get his way, because he got traded out of New York, because he got traded out of the best media market in the world. I got traded to die. That's how Odell Beckham responded to a tough situation.
So, Doug, you are willing to say, Doug, that OBJ was the problem in Cleveland?
I think him being a sour on the organization, him not getting the ball, him having his dad post videos on Instagram mocking or basically ridiculing his quarterback, that can weigh on a team. That can draw. All it takes is one shot to draw down the team chemistry.
Doug,
I loved Odell.
One thing I'm not going to let you do is, bro. I'm one thing. So what you're saying was it wasn't a problem until OBJ came in there.
They won a playoff game, right? They got to the playoffs. They won a playoff game with him with an injury. I mean, they did more without him. They did without it. It's kind of like the Jeremy Shockey factor in New York. Sometimes a big subtraction could be one of the biggest additions, because when Jeremy Shockey got hurt for the Giants, look how Eli Manning took over that team, because he didn't have that nuisance in his ear every single week. Sometimes you need to get rid of unfortunately malcontent, and I love Odell. I loved Odell when he was a Giant, but sometimes that guy couldn't keep his mouth shut when he needed to and just focus on football. And that's the biggest problem with Odell's biggest problem was Odell. And we said it. The day that he caught that ball in Dallas, the biggest ego monster was created with him.
But Doug, no, I'm not gonna let you do that. Like, I'm not gonna let you.
I'm calling it like it is.
It's not. That's not true. That's not true. I'm not gonna let you criticize this man for no reason.
Why did he get traded? Why did he get traded? Because
the New York Giants could not take their pride out their ass. They couldn't take their pride out their ass. They chose an older quarterback in Eli Manning who couldn't get nothing done. Over a young star wide receiver.
Wasted by a substandard offensive line.
But he couldn't do jack nothing.
Fired for that.
But we chose a old quarterback who couldn't get the job done over a young stud wide receiver. That's why we got traded.
But Freddie, at the same time, even though that they did choose an old quarterback, that's up to the organization to bring in a young new quarterback.
Denver chose an old quarterback. They protected the old quarterback.
The organization, Gettleman was riding that wave with Eli Manning, and Eli Manning was should have been on his way out. But the organization did not do nothing to upgrade that quarterback position.
So they had several chances in the draft.
I understand that. Hold on, I understand that, but one thing we're not going to do, and a lot of people are trying to do, is put Odell in the complete problem. It's not. What wide receiver? There's not a lot of receivers out there that we don't see does not have a big ego. We seeing Michael Thomas going through it right now, but we seen wide receivers with these situations, but still, he's still acting like he didn't have to have that surgery when he had it, so he's still acting the way he acted. So, but we talking about we going to send him to Cleveland. The Giants lost their trade. Lost it. They didn't try to get anything out of that Odell trade, in my opinion. They said we just wanted to get Odell away from New York.
They should have got more.
They should
have got more out of that deal.
We're going to send you to Cleveland. We're going to send you to a team who don't necessarily really need you because they had Landry. I mean, hey, we're going to send you. And then they get Landry. You have Nick Chubb. You have the Kareem Hunt. You have the tight end. You have the defense, offensive line. And with a young quarterback who have never been around this much talent on your team. There was reports that this man couldn't even get the football in practice. How bad is that? Even when he was with an old Eli Manning, Odell Beckham Jr. was still getting 1,000-yard seasons, receptions. It's bad when there's reports that his man can't even get passes thrown to him in practice. That's how bad it is. So people want to act like it's blame him for a situation. No player is going to be in a bad situation that they feel like they're not involved in the offense. They feel like they're not involved for the team. When you have a quarterback who can't even read his reads right. I mean, but we're not going to sit there and just act like Odell Beckham Jr. was the complete problem. And then you talking about his daddy posted the video. Yes, he did. But nobody criticized Tom Brady when his daddy went on the radio station and criticized him.
Tom Brady has 6 championship rings.
But it don't matter. That don't matter. No, it don't matter. No, it does not matter because Odell Beckham Jr., when healthy, have a quarterback who would be a top receiver in this game.
In this league. He has, aside from the 1 year in Cleveland, Odell Beckham Jr. was on a lot of losing football teams. And granted,
was it his problem? No,
it wasn't his fault though.
But he wasn't helping.
It wasn't his fault.
Win more. They lost more with Odell than they won.
I mean, the quarterback couldn't get him the ball. Couldn't get him the ball at all.
Eli used to force feed the ball to Odell.
But y'all say, but this is the thing though. Y'all saying this about Odell Beckham. I hear what you're saying. I hear your point, Freddie. I hear your point, Doug, as well as Coach's point. But at the same time, soon as Odell Beckham Jr. leaves Cleveland Brown, look what Baker Mayfield does on Sunday. He gets the ball down the field and he scores. They score 41 points, 2 touchdowns, and he threw for almost 250 yards.
So that means Bishop, that Odell Beckham did not fit the scheme that they were running.
Agreed.
Correct.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yep.
He's no longer there, so they no longer
agree.
Yeah, he no longer.
That's it.
He's no longer there, so now they don't have to worry about trying to get him the ball, which wasn't going to be effective anyway. Before that press conference they had, in which you can tell it was just awkwardness. And so, just like everyone's saying, he was never going to be a fit there. They just tried to fit it in, and it just didn't work. Let's move on.
He just didn't fit the scheme.
Right.
But one thing I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let any OBJ slander come on here without criticizing Baker Mayfield, without criticizing Dave Gettleman, without criticizing Eli Manning, without criticizing all that. I'm not going to let that happen.
Eli Manning made Odell. Okay, Odell's best years were with Eli. Let's not.
Without question.
I understand you love Eli. I understand you love Eli. I love Eli too. I love him too. But guess what? We can't be that loyal. We can't be that dude.
I'm loyal to this.
No, but we can't. But we can't have our head in our ass to think.
I'm not.
To think that Eli at one point couldn't give that man the football. That's one thing we can't do. That's one thing we can't do.
You know why Eli couldn't get the man the football? Because
yes, understand the O-line.
Because they didn't put the offensive.
But
that's the most important.
There was some problems with Eli as well. He wasn't seeing
from not being protected.
He wasn't seeing the field as well.
Yeah,
that's one thing that's one thing we're not going to
himself down every time. Look at what happened with Daniel Jones yesterday. Set hike. 0.5 seconds. He's got Max Crosby breathing on his neck. Eli Manning
been in the league how long?
Not even half the athlete that Daniel Jones was. If you have a slow
how long has Eli Manning been in the NFL?
Line around him.
Doug, how long has Eli Manning been in the NFL?
He was in the NFL for 15 years.
He should know how to. I mean, he should know how to adjust. He should know. He know that wasn't the first year he had a bad offensive line. This man was not. There was times Odell Beckham was wide open for going to the end zone. He couldn't make the throw. And I love Eli, but we're not going to sit up and act like Eli wasn't part of the problem either. That's why he retired.
And that's why
he knew he didn't have it no more.
And a lot of critics said that about Eli on his last few years, that he wasn't the Eli of old. They did say that about Eli.
And that's true because Eli wasn't the Eli of old because he was so shell-shocked from getting his ass handed to him from the defensive lines because his offensive lines failed him because Jerry Reese failed whatever reason, failed to put a competent offensive line around him. They did not do what the Denver Broncos did when they had a surgically repaired Peyton Manning come in, and when they knew, okay, Peyton Manning's slow, but he could still chuck the ball downfield. Guess what? We're going to build him the best offensive line possible, and that's why they went to 2 Super Bowls and at least won one, although the defense won the last one, but still they got to them because they protected their older yet Hall of Fame quarterback. That's how you win in this league. If you have an older quarterback, you better protect him because you know what? He's going to end up on his rear end most of the time, like Eli Manning did. Hence, why Eli Manning looked like a shell of himself the last couple of years and couldn't get Odell the ball.
But Denver that year, that second year had an all-time great defense.
Oh, Von Miller,
even with Peyton being there, they still had an offensive line that was effective.
I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. But that I definitely agree with that 1,000%. That defense was all-time. Peyton Manning didn't have to do was turn the ball over, and that's what he did. He didn't turn the ball over.
He was a game manager that last year. I mean, it's crazy to think Peyton Manning was a game manager, but I mean, with all the injuries, he had the shoulder injury.
He played on a messed up foot. Yeah, he had a messed up foot. He had a messed up foot.
Messed up foot. Who was it? Brock Osweiler took over, I think.
Took over for a couple of games.
Too. And they put Peyton Manning back in. But Peyton Manning got put back in because he wasn't making the dumb mistakes Brock Osweiler was making. But he stayed upright because the offensive line kept him upright, and he could get the ball to Demaryius Thomas and to Julius Thomas and to everybody else. If you have an older quarterback, you got to protect him. That's kind of the way it goes. If you're not fleet-footed, you better keep him upright because he's
Doug, I understand that, but we can't keep simply making excuses for this man. Because I mean, it's not even that he was getting hit. This man was going through this progression, and he did not see Odell on the field open.
But this it goes back to the organization. You didn't bring in a successor for Eli Manning. You didn't go in.
Daniel Jones. What are you talking about?
Daniel Jones is not really an Eli successor as of right now. He's not.
Well, we can't sit there and
It remains
seen with Daniel Jones.
We've seen great flashes. We've seen great flashes out of Daniel Jones, so we're not going to sit up here and criticize him.
Yep.
Put a competent offensive line in front of Daniel Jones. Give him a healthy Saquon. Give him those weapons that he expected in week 1, like a healthy Kenny Golladay. Kadarius Toney, who has now evolved into this great playmaker. Give him those weapons that we all thought we were getting in week 1. Mm-hmm. Let's see what Daniel Jones can, because he's shown what he can do when he has to makeshift some of these plays. But when you have a healthy line, healthy weapons, he's got the talent.
He got a better peak than Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is still better than Daniel Jones on any given Sunday. It doesn't matter.
He wasn't this past Sunday. That's the thing. He wasn't this Sunday.
Even though Carr threw 2 picks,
and he fumbled. Game-losing fumbles.
If all of that, if you look at the numbers, Carr still outplayed.
Carr's still a great player, no doubt.
Hey, that fumble wasn't his fault, though. That fumble wasn't his fault. That was the goddamn offensive line. Yeah, that wasn't his fault. I couldn't blame Derek Carr for that.
I was so happy.
That was blindside. That was on his blind side. Derek Carr didn't see that. He did not see it coming.
Just like the first sack on Daniel Jones, that was on Matt Pert. When your left tackle gives up the blind side and you have no idea what's coming, you are not hanging on to that football. And that's exactly what happened to Derek Carr on that last play.
Exactly. Absolutely. I 100% agree.
How did we get on the Raiders again? Raiders lost. Raiders lost.
It is what it is. Bringing them up, but
breaking news! Got breaking news.
I want to make this. I want to make this take though. We found out that Jordan Love is not the answer for Green Bay. We found that out.
Hold on, Freddie. What's the breaking news? Let's
pause on this.
Is not the answer in Green Bay.
Bob, you might want to listen. I'm about to go NBA.
Oh, you already know.
Have engaged in conversations with Philadelphia.
Ben Simmons.
For Ben Simmons. A deal that would include Jaylen Brown.
Wow.
Let's go.
Okay.
I love Jaylen Brown. That'd be good.
Jaylen Brown's a good player.
Jaylen Brown.
He's a great player. He's a 24 per game scorer.
Jaylen Brown to Philly. I would take Jaylen Brown.
Do y'all think that? Do you think that Jaylen Brown thing is because of what Jaylen Brown said the other night? Oh no, that was Marcus Smart. That was Marcus
Smart. Called it out.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown is the borderline all-star. He's a borderline all-star.
That's a 1B player in Boston. That's a good player.
He's a borderline all-star.
I would love him on the Sixers. The Sixers will definitely be a top contender in the East with Jaylen Brown on it. In the way the Sixers are playing right now, without Ben Simmons, we beat the Bulls with no Danny Green, even though Danny Green's only a good for defending wise.
He's a good shooter.
He's a good shooter.
That's
Danny Green, he's off and on with me when it comes to shooting.
I know he's on and off. That's his career. That's his career. Either he's really on or he's really off.
But I mean, I just feel like with the way the Sixers are playing right now, to add a Jaylen Brown,
that's a good mesh for your system.
There's not a trade yet. It's not a trade yet.
No, it's just they're
in talks.
It's just a rumor, but Morey make the call. Morley make the call.
They're in talks.
Yep. If I'm down Morey, I'm pulling the plug. I'm pulling that trigger. Ben Jaylen Brown,
he better break down somewhere else, Bobby, because Ben Simmons can be a Celtic.
He could be a Celtic. If I'm, they interested in that, I'll take that. If I'm Daryl Morey, I'll take that. I'll take the young Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen, like you said, he's a step away from being, he's
a borderline on. He's just not an offensive player too. He can shoot and he can play defense. He's a good defender, great defender.
Right.
Facts.
Agreed.
Sorry for changing the subject, but I just seen that come up all along.
No, that was good. But back to what you were saying though, Spotlight, in regards to Jordan Love, I totally agree with you. I'll be the first to say I was giving Jordan Love a whole lot of credit because I thought because they didn't have no film on Jordan Love.
One game.
But hold on, but I was feeling like they didn't have film on Jordan Love. But the way Jordan Love played last night, you don't need film. You don't need film.
No, I mean it can come back to bite you. It can come back to bite you sometimes, but it won't. Sometimes
it's one game, man.
What we're not gonna say is it's about one game, but for the simple fact that this dude is very inaccurate. He's very inaccurate.
Okay, but it's his first. It's his first.
No.
Start.
What you won't do, Trey, is you won't make it seem like he is not practicing, bro.
That goes for either. It goes either way. That's only one game.
Hear me out, Trey.
No,
Jordan Love had the opportunity.
To
make a hell of a game against
one of the worst defenses
in the league.
Yep.
And you only scored 7 on only 32nd ranked defense.
Facts. The Giants scored
unacceptable,
17.
Bro. He had the easiest way to make this a game for him, a breakout game for him.
And this is the thing, Trey. I get it. The one game, I understand where you're coming from. But when you're missing wide open receivers,
wide open, and
like
throwing the ball,
these ain't hard passes. You missing wide open receivers.
And throwing the ball in double coverage, throwing the ball in double coverage,
or do we blame the play caller for Matt LaFleur? Because where was Aaron Jones yesterday?
Yep.
I want to say something real quick.
Oh,
hold on, I'm getting a phone call real quick. Hello.
It's from Aaron Rodgers, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
hey, my dude, you go get vaccinated when you can. All right.
What it was.
He's not getting some ganja,
but you can't say that because Aaron Rodgers can't get vaccinated right now, Freddie, because he's allergic to 2 of the 3 vaccinations that are out.
That's true. But Aaron Rodgers said that he ain't scared about no young bug coming to take his job.
Of course he's not.
He said that he ain't afraid because Jordan Love can't even come in there and control the offense. He can't even come in there and run the plays. I mean, it was so bad. His coach was telling him come to the sideline.
Did you see the seats that they gave his mom? Oh my God! She needed binoculars to see her son, and even she's probably like, "Oh my God, you don't roll out! You're terrible at throwing."
Really?
Whoever came up with that idea in the Green Bay organization that it's time to find another quarterback, they was on drugs. They need to go get drug tested because clearly we've seen that offense will not move if number 12 is not back there. I understand it's one game, but we got to realize who they was playing against. They played against a bad Kansas City defense.
So
that's what we got to realize.
That part.
What y'all telling me is that any one of us could have went there and quarterbacked the Green Green Bay Packers to the win. That's what you're telling me.
Yep.
Right, you know,
at least hand the ball off to Aaron Jones.
Right, you know, I could have won in there.
So my point being made is basically that you have to take into consideration it's one game. Anything could have happened. We just
no, it's not about one game, Trayvon.
It's one game, one start.
That don't mean nothing.
Of a playoff.
You can't build it
to get the
whole.
whole.
Hear me out. Like Doug said, a guy like Jordan Love needs to have a running game. You have one of the best running backs in the league, and Matt LaFleur does not give him the ball enough. Aaron Jones had 25 carries in this game. Make it manageable for Jordan Love.
25 carries.
He thought Jordan Love was going to be the successor of Aaron Rodgers, and it didn't happen. You got to establish a run game to open up the play action. At the end of the day, Jordan Love didn't play well. He played like crap.
You know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? They're what you call it when somebody's used to somebody. They're I can't think of the word. That and they're not used to this. They're
used to Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yes,
they went from
word
to Rodgers at the snap of
No, I know the word. They're spoiled.
So
they see Aaron Rodgers every week make it look easy, and then they say, you know what? We need to replace them. But now, we'll go Trayvon.
Don Mikowski again.
So what we're gonna say is first you gotta take into consideration. No one is saying that Jordan Love is the caliber of quarterback in which Aaron Rodgers is.
Nowhere near it.
Nowhere near it. But just as we were still talking about with Eli Manning, you have to bring someone in at some point that's going to be able to replace him because he is becoming older and he's not going to be able to play forever.
Hold on, Trey.
What's up?
Unless you're Tom Brady,
Trey, let me say this. Let me ask you this, Trey. Are you seriously gonna sit here and tell me by looking at Jordan Love's performance yesterday?
No.
Listen, hold on. You're going to sit here and tell me that Jordan Love's performance yesterday looks like somebody who could be the future for that Green Bay Packer team?
I'm not going to say that. But 2 points are being said.
Let me ask you this though. Also, with that question, second part of that, there's a 2-part. Him, just like any other quarterback that came out with him, do you feel like he's on any same level of the quarterbacks that came out in the draft with him?
No.
In the way he played.
No, but how many of those quarterbacks are getting in time? That's the difference. Y'all not going to tell me. Y'all not going to sit here and make us face.
But you're sitting behind. Hold on. Wait a minute.
You're sitting behind a Hall of Fame quarterback.
What that mean?
Aaron Rodgers.
You've
seen it when people.
Did Jerry Jones sit behind Eli?
No,
Daniel Jones.
One thing you're not going to sit up and do is compare Eli Manning and Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love situation. You're not going to do that. That's one thing you're not going to do, Trayvon.
So what I was basically
saying, you act like
Daniel Jones didn't sit for long. He only sat for 2 games.
Look at all the quarterbacks that backed up Tom Brady. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo came in when Tom Brady was out, and he was not bad in New England.
So did Sam Castle.
Exactly, but that tells you they went out and got quality quarterbacks.
Yeah,
but the thing about that is all those quarterbacks had time to play and they competed.
The number 10 pick in that draft.
Yeah, the number 10.
He was a first-round pick.
He was, and he's not playing it like that.
Hey, guess what? And you know the sad part about it? The Packers moved back in the first round to pick Jordan Love.
Exactly.
They were out of the first round. They moved back in the first round just to pick Jordan Love. Well, they really could have. They really needed
got a receiver.
They got a running back and a quarterback. They had a running back they got a running back and a quarterback. They didn't even attempt to get Aaron Rodgers on the receiver. They didn't even attempt to do it.
So Trayvon,
that's how bad it looked.
Trayvon, this is what I'm saying. Like it's not the problem that they got a quarterback. It's where you get the quarterback. And then you just went to the NFC divisional game. You try to do. This is what I have a problem with teams. Your main job is to try to get better. You just went to this far. Okay, what do you need to do to add on? It's not time for you to try to find somebody to be Aaron Rodgers' replacement. Like, how dare you? What the heck? What's wrong with you? But he just proved to us why he's still yet that bad man that he is. And Jordan Love, if Aaron Rodgers playing this Sunday, you might not touch the field in Green Bay for a while. So. Good night.
After Jordan Love's performance, now the front office of the Green Bay Packers really have to rethink that about Aaron Rodgers. They really have to.
What is there to think of? What is there to think of, Bishop?
Right, I agree with you.
Hold Aaron Rodgers down. Have that offensive line hold Aaron Rodgers down and stick the needle up his butt and be like, all right, you're vaccinated. Get your ass on the field. That's basically what Green Bay has to do.
Right.
Be like, Jordan Love is not ready. We could have drafted Chase Claypool instead of Jordan Love in the first round, but instead we got your future, who may not be your future. Aaron, take one for the team. Get the vaccine.
That's a slap in the face. That's a slap in the face. They traded back into the first round. They traded back into the first round when they was out of the first round to get Jordan Love. They traded right back in
the first round.
That's what I'm saying. They could have got a receiver out of that.
They could have gotten Patrick Queen, who went to the Ravens in the next pick. That would have been a nice addition for your defense.
Even Justin Jefferson, he went to your division.
Right.
He was a couple picks before. They couldn't have gotten him.
Trey,
he was already gone.
It just looks bad for Jordan, man.
I'm not against that. All I'm saying is it's one game. Even if he had won the game and went out there and did what everyone expected that what he was supposed to do, it's one game. No different from the conversation about Mike White or Simeon. It was one game.
That was a
winnable
game.
The
difference between Trevor Simeon.
The fact of the matter is that it's one game against the worst defense in the
league. And a winnable game.
Doesn't make a difference.
Winnable.
The Chiefs are struggling.
Even with Trevor Simeon beat the Bucs because the game was managed. It was not managed for Jordan Love. So that goes back on Matt LaFleur that he didn't have a game plan for Jordan Love. Knowing Jordan Love is a quarterback that can be mobile. Get him out on the boot. Run the ball so you can get that play action. He didn't manage the game for him, and that's why Jordan Love struggled. And he even said it in the article that he said it falls on him because you didn't really prepare him for the game. You just didn't. You had what?
I don't think Green Bay was ever really prepared. I don't think Green Bay was ever really prepared to lose Aaron Rodgers due to a failed COVID test. I don't think they were ever prepared to ever have that backup plan this year to have Jordan Love prepared. That's why I said it was such a makeshift preparation, and that falls on Matt LaFleur because he didn't have enough preparation to get his quarterback. Granted, he's been running scout offenses and holding a headset and a clipboard, but that's on Matt LaFleur not having his quarterback preprepared or having. You know what? Let's run the ball 25 times.
You know why? Because you know why? Because they're spoiled. They haven't had to get a quarterback prepared because they this is the conversation on a Tuesday. Hey, 12, you got the game plan? Or are you
vaccinated yet?
I mean, Aaron Jones has to get more carries, man. Aaron Jones only had 12 from 53. You got to get more carries. You got to at least get him at 20.
How you not get him 20 plus carries?
Yes. Easy.
And no receptions either. Like, come on.
Yes.
Hey, let's take a quick commercial break and let's move on to the next topic.
Back after this.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. 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 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
So, welcome back, man, to All Sports, All Plays. We back with it again on this Monday, man. Football, basketball, college football, man. It's just an upset weekend. Everybody's talking about Jordan Love and the horrible performance in which he had. But he wasn't the only one that had horrible performances this weekend, y'all.
Here we go.
He wasn't the only team that did not show up for the game. We also know the Titans upset the Rams, which a lot of people didn't see because of Derrick Henry. What are y'all thoughts about the Titans upsetting the Rams in LA to win this game 28-16 over the Rams without a Derrick Henry who everybody believed was the front runner for MVP this season?
Well, I'm gonna just go first on this. I underestimated the Tennessee Titans, and
all did.
Even in this defense for Tennessee really did the number for this Rams powerful offense. And I'm just gonna sit here and be honest. Nico Autry was a one-man wrecking crew on that defensive line, and they didn't give up big plays. That's what the Rams are good for. They like to throw the ball deep, and they did not do it. They kept everything in front of them, and they stopped the run. They made Matthew Stafford look uncomfortable. But on the other side of the ball, A.J. Brown made Jalen Ramsey look like who? Look like what?
A bum.
I'm sorry. Jalen Ramsey, you have no room to talk this week. No room to talk.
He still will.
Hey, let him talk because he got scorched.
Yeah,
he got scorched. And at the end of the day, even though the Rams got a tough loss, but at the end of the day, even without King Henry, I think the Titans still could get it done.
Again, this was another game where the LA Rams was leading in all stats. They had 347 total yards to the Titans 194. They had 253 passing yards to the Titans 125. They had 94 rushing yards to the Titans 69. Yet the Titans come out with the win 28-16 in LA.
What's Tannehill's stats?
Tannehill
game managed.
19. He was 19 of 27. 19 of 27. 143 yards.
And a rushing touchdown.
One touchdown.
A manageable game like Jordan Love was supposed to have.
Actually, his Jordan Love's stats are better than Tannehill's or similar. He threw for more yards, and they both had an interception and a touchdown throw.
See,
Jordan Love was late. Jordan Love, the difference between Jordan Love's and Ryan Tannehill's. Listen, I know you don't want to hear this, Trey.
I mean, I ain't got no dog in the fight. I'm just
I know you don't. But the difference between the two, Tannehill managed the entire game. Them stats that Jordan Love got was toward the last third and fourth quarter of that game. That's when Jordan Love began to come kind of sort of figure it out in a way. But
again, it comes with one game. If he tried to figure it out late, that means he got it. Now he's probably not going to have another opportunity unless Rodgers is out a little while longer. But I mean, I digress.
Man, like I say, man, that Titan defensive line surprised me. They were very good last night. I mean, like Coach Spotlight said, the Nico Autry was disruptive. Every time I look back, Tannehill, I mean, Matthew Stafford was in trouble. I mean, the end zone play when he got set, Daniel should have got probably took the safety right there. He ends up throwing the football away and it ends up getting picked off. Jared Bird had an interception. I mean, I got to give credit to that Titans defensive line. They showed up to play. Everything was kept in front of them, and they was disrupted. And Ryan Tannehill managed the game pretty well. Matt Nichols got involved in the running game. Peterson got carries. I mean, it was play action was opening up. I mean, it was an all-around team effort for the Tennessee Titans, but I just want to give credit and shout out to that defensive line. They was disrupted, and they put a lot of pressure on Matthew Stafford and that offensive line. So Tennessee just really came to play, and they just really punched them in the mouth.
I got a question for everybody now. That touchdown that they took away from the Rams.
From Higbee.
Did y'all really think he stepped out? Yes. I mean,
I couldn't see it. I really didn't see it like that. It was 50-50.
It could have went both ways, but I think if that touchdown would have counted, I think we talk about a different situation here. But once Adrian Peterson got that touchdown and they went up 28-9, it was over.
Yeah, it was it.
So let me ask y'all this, the panel this. With Matthew Stafford and the way the Tennessee Titans is playing, even though Derrick Henry is out, is the Tennessee Titans still a force to be reckoned with in their division?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That coach, the Titans is always going to run that division.
Mike Vrabel is Bill Belichick of Mike Vrabel knows how to coach. And it's not the first time he's done this before to a high-powered team. Let's go back to the Baltimore game where
Baltimore
and kick Lamar Jackson right out of the playoffs when everybody thought King Lamar was going to march Baltimore to a Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel knows how to coach, and it goes back to when he played with Belichick. He learned everything from Belichick. He learned a lot from. He learned a lot from being under first Gary Kubiak and then Wade Phillips. Mike Vrabel knows how to coach, and you know Tom Brady busts his balls all the time. They give those little jabs to each other, but at the end of the day, Mike Vrabel is one of the most well-prepared coaches and was basically anti-Matt LaFleur. Yes, he realized that his best player is missing. Guess what? Let's gather a game plan. We'll have a running back by committee. We'll have a quarterback who doesn't turn the football over, and we'll have a defense that will smother Matthew Stafford into thinking that he was back on the Detroit Lions. And guess what? They walked out of one of the best Super Bowl contenders places with a win. And right now, they're serious right now for being a top AFC team to be a contender.
They're definitely contenders. I totally agree. I know a lot of people, but a lot of people on Sunday before the game had Tennessee out of it because of the fact that Derrick Henry was out for the season. A lot of people felt like
I thought they were still going to win the division. I thought they were still going to win the division, but they won't go any further without Derrick Henry. They're clearly solidified. Now they clearly solidified themselves. They can go even further in the playoffs without Derrick Henry. As long as that defensive line clearly, I got to clearly get them that damn defensive line credit.
And they can get Derrick Henry. They can get Derrick Henry back.
NBA right now.
You
already bring your behind back up here because I mean we're going to move forward because you know we're on time right now, but we're going to talk about some NBA stuff. We're definitely going to go back into football with the college football rankings. We're going to talk about that as well. But yesterday we had a slate of games, a lot of upsets in the NBA as well. Where you had the Brooklyn Nets at the Toronto Raptors, where Brooklyn ended up winning 116-103. Kevin Durant had 31 points. Van Vliet had 21. Then you had the Cleveland Cavaliers beat up on New York with Ricky Rubio off the bench with 37 points. Off the bench, 37 points. Julius Randle with 19. Then you had Orlando upsetting Utah 107-100 with Cole Anthony with 33, Rudy Gobert with 21. You had Milwaukee getting upset by the Washington Wizards 101-94. Bradley Beal had 30. Antetokounmpo had 29.
That's a good team too.
Shout out to Washington. They're definitely a basketball team. And then you had the Indiana Pacers win in a close one against the Sacramento Kings 94-91 with Karis LeVert coming back with 22 points and Harrison Barnes with 22 points. You had a San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City had a close game as well, where OKC comes out with 99-94 with Mike Muscala with 20 points and Keldon Johnson with 22 for San Antonio. The Houston Rockets end up losing at home against the Golden State Warriors 120-107. Jordan Poole with another 25-point night. And Jayshawn Tate with 21 for the Houston Rockets. And then you have the Charlotte Hornets losing to the Los Angeles Clippers 120-106. And Paul George had 20 points and LaMelo Ball had 21 points. So out of all these games, what was the most shocking losses and what was the most surprising out of these games?
Cavaliers over the Knicks for me.
I'm gonna go Orlando over Utah, man. Utah's supposed to be a top contender in the Western Conference, and Cole Anthony scores 33 points, and they have supposed to be an elite defense. Quinn Snyder is really a very good head coach. He coaches defense, but to let Cole Anthony score 33 points against a Magic team that is clearly rebuilding, clearly don't have an actual direction. That's kind of disappointing for Orlando. So that's my upset. Orlando beating Utah.
For me, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers over the Knicks, man. I really didn't see the Knicks was playing good ball. I mean, and you know
they beat the Bucks on Friday.
Yeah, they was playing good ball, and for even Mobley to come in, knock down 26 points for the Cavs, man. Jared Allen with 18, Darius Garland with 16. It's just I just didn't see that happening for the Knicks. You know, Julius Randle had 19. That's not going to do it, man. RJ Barrett 6. Come on, he's got to do more. That team has to come through. Derrick Rose with 17. That was the shocker for me. Cleveland came in there and then punched New York Knicks in the mouth. So I'm gonna say Cleveland defeating the Knicks.
I'm gonna say Cleveland Knicks as well because there's no way you let Rubio come off the bench.
It's go 37. Just drop you off like that. Yeah,
that's crazy.
He was 8 for 9 from 3-point. I mean, this is a game the Knicks should have won. I mean, great, yes, they were missing Kemba Walker, and yet, I mean, they had a lot of players in double figures.
But you still got Emmanuel Quickly and all of them other guys, and Derrick Rose. Yo, you still got them. You still got to beat.
Oh yeah, they had 5 or 6 players in double figures scoring. I mean, 109 points. You should win this game. What they did not count on was Ricky Rubio going 8 for 9 from 3-point territory and scoring 37 off the bench. You figure Evan Mobley is going to get his 20 and 10. Jared Allen had a double-double, and Darius Garland had 16 points. You figure for those because they're starters. What you don't figure out is Ricky Rubio scoring 37 off the bench. Without Ricky Rubio, the Cleveland Cavaliers don't win it. But you know what? This Cavaliers team, they can play. They can play. They're 7-4 right now. They're early surprise right now in the NBA. And they just beat a good Knicks team. The Knicks are a good team. They're going to be a playoff team and maybe a top team in the East. And they beat them at Madison Square Garden. That's not a late victory. That's a good victory.
Yeah, that's a good victory. And they almost beat the Lakers. They almost beat them, man. They almost beat them.
I gotta give a shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're looking really good early as well too.
Aren't they the shot team spotlight? They're the shot team right now.
They got so many NBA draft picks coming up.
14
build around that.
They are 14.
I mean,
Shai Gilgeous
we expect Oklahoma City to come out.
Oh, he mad. See, Trey mad right now. Trey mad. See, spotlight.
Trey, y'all lost to combine. Y'all lost to combine 20. Y'all lost to combine 20-point leads twice.
Okay, so let's get straight into that right now before we go into college football. About these Lakers that lost on Saturday against Portland. Now it was 105-90. Damian Lillard had 25 points, but Malik Monk had a high of 13 points. Lakers fans, we need some answers. We need some answers,
bro. We do. Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis left the game because he had an illness. He left the game at halftime.
What was the game high for the Lakers, Coach? Coach, what was the game high for the Lakers? What was the game high?
12. Carmelo Monk.
He was the leading scorer for the Lakers.
13 points.
13. Wow. Malik Monk had 13.
I don't think Dante likes the Lakers.
Carmelo was.
No, I don't like him. No, I don't. I actually don't. No.
And Dwight Howard was third with 11.
Hold on, this is the starters. This is the starters' points for the starting 5. Anthony Davis, we all know that he left. He only had 2. He played 7 minutes.
Right.
With an illness,
Bazemore, 19 minutes with 4 points. Jordan, 20 minutes with 6 points. Westbrook, you played 29 minutes, 1 of 13 from the field. Bro.
Yeah, he shot up enough. He shot up enough bricks that night to build the homeless a nice little shelter in Portland. That's how bad it was. And I love it.
Hey, you gonna have to give us some answers. You need answers on that.
So what we're not going to do. What we're not going to do is act like people don't have bad games.
Oh my goodness, they were.
That's first and foremost. So we're not going to act like people don't have bad games. That's first and foremost.
How many bad games can he have, though?
Westbrook been having bad games since he's been a Laker.
That is true. And again, as I stated, just like anything else, it's still a chemistry thing. It's still a thing in which he has to come and get acclimated to playing. You got to take in consideration. This is his dream. He's playing at home for one of the most historic organizations in basketball, if not in sports. He's taken back by it a little bit. I was just saying this morning where I thought he probably needs to have a conversation with a sports psychologist to kind of get himself back in his zone, because it might be a little overwhelming with him when we talk about mental illness and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things. So you know what I'm saying? Like we gonna take it. It's early in the season. We still within we still got time. You still got time. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried.
It's good that they're doing the early
have LeBron James or Anthony Davis. Y'all still had 20-point leads and still gave it up. Like that's kind of it's just kind of nervous for me as an NBA fan. Like, is the Lakers really the real deal? Like, are they really the real deal? Or y'all just put a bunch of pieces together just to try to win a championship? Because Bazemore is not good.
So y'all got to
last time Bazemore was good when he was in Atlanta. And then
so you got to think Bazemore is just meant to be a role player. So you got, of course,
player.
he's just playing. He's just filling the role of one of the two spots in which AD, Westbrook, and LeBron aren't in. So he's just. You got to think all the other Ellington, Ariza, those players are injured, so they're not right. They're not in the lineup. Yeah, THT, they're not in the lineup. So they're just filling in. But like I said, give me a little bit. Like I said, come December, we'll see what's up. January timeframe.
They're missing Trevor
being a role player. Don't you feel like as a role player you should step in when you got one of your key players is Anthony Davis being sick, LeBron James being out?
That's not his role though. That's not for baseball.
But he's a role player. He has to come in and play a significant part of a role when you have your key players out.
That's I think once AD,
he's not the person expected to fill that position if one of them are out. So he's just complimentary. He's complimentary.
What that means, Westbrook has to be.
He was the best. He was one of the best things in which we could get on the market at that time for that. That's basically what it is. He's a better.
That comes down to Westbrook.
He's supposed to be a 3-and-D,
being more of a leader. Instead of shooting bricks for 29 minutes, 1 of 13, you got to pass the ball, bro. You got to get others involved.
That's too many minutes to be shooting 1 for 13 and not. Yeah, that's too many minutes, man. You can't have over 19 minutes to be.
We know that
4 points and stuff like that.
Facilitator. We know this.
Yeah.
We know that Westbrook can pass the ball, but he was jacking up shots and being selfish. Period.
Yep.
That's something he has to work on, that's
been Westbrook's problem for the past couple of seasons. Go ahead, Doug. That's
because Westbrook has always felt like he has to be the guy to take that shot. Whereas this is his first time ever, basically, even since when he had KD and James Harden on the Thunder, where he doesn't have to be option number one. And that's something he has to work on. Also, he has to work on not having to chuck up the ball, like in that last loss against the Thunder. They had a chance to tie the game, and Westbrook chuck up the worst brick to end the game. Whereas he should have done, being a facilitator, he should have gotten the ball to Carmelo Anthony, who had just made
on that play
3-pointers, and he should have at least gotten Carmelo the ball.
On that play, I kind of questioned a little bit because I think it was a play. That was a play for a design. I think Carmelo Anthony was trying to come off a screen, and Westbrook then was not patient enough to see him, and he just went on and hurried up and panicked and chunked. Yeah, he had time, but he just hurried up and chunked it up. He wasn't patient enough. He panicked and hurried up and chunked it up. Yeah. So that was
and that's been Westbrook's problem all year. At least in the games where he's struggled, where he's gone 1 for 13, he's not getting to the rim enough. He's shooting all of these 3-pointers, trying to play hero ball. Whereas I've seen him, he's gotten to the rim plenty of times this year, and they still can't stop his speed. He's got to do that more and stop these 5 for 13, 1 for 13, and actually just go to plan B. Get to the freaking basket. The worst case, they'll foul you. You get to the free throw line, you still get your points. But, I mean, the more that Russell Westbrook continues to put up 1 for 13 nights, that's where the Lakers are going to struggle. And that's where Westbrook needs to realize he doesn't have to be the option one anymore. He's got good players around him in LeBron when he comes back from his injury. When AD is on the court, he's got Carmelo, who has been really good the first 10 games. He's got players around him where he can get 13, 14 assists if he's willing to facilitate the basketball.
I agree.
Absolutely. I agree. 100%. I agree 100%. Hopefully the Lakers can get it going, and Westbrook needs to, even though he does get triple doubles, he does need to cut down on his turnovers as well. So that's another thing that he does have to cut down on as a good facilitator as he is. So that's basically what the Sunday slate was.
But let me ask you this though, Spotlight, real quick, and all of those on the panel. Y'all know Brooklyn is 7-3. Do y'all see Brooklyn being the Brooklyn as expected, with Kyrie still being out, being the team that they were supposed to be, even though Kyrie's not playing?
I just think they're moving on from the Kyrie situation and just thinking about basketball. And it shows on the basketball court. They're playing more of a team ball. They just say if Kyrie comes back, then Kyrie will come back. But right now, we're competing for a championship. So that's where I think their mindset is at this point when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. Same thing for the 76ers. We're 7-2 or 8-2. Could be Chicago, one of those. But we're moving on without Ben Simmons. We don't want to hear that Ben Simmons slander. We don't care what Ben Simmons is doing. We're winning basketball games. And that's the same thing that's going on with Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. I totally agree with you. I mean, I feel like when you got Kevin Durant knocking down 31 and James Harden knocking down 28, almost had a triple double. He had 10 rebounds and 8 assists. He was 2 assists away from a triple double. That means Harden is on his way, man. He's starting to come to himself out there in Brooklyn, man. And like you said, I feel like the Brooklyn Nets have kind of put Kyrie on the back burner in the back of their head. And like you said, if he come back, he come back. If not, it is what it is. We finna move forward and try and win this championship out here in Brooklyn.
I think that's good enough, though, to be honest with you. In the Eastern Conference, if you have even a healthy James Harden with Patty Mills coming off that bench, scoring the way he is, I think that's good enough in the Eastern Conference to get to the NBA Finals with Kevin Durant, who can score anytime he wants. If James Harden was least healthy in that Milwaukee series, because he was not right, I believe he was rushed back with that hamstring injury. He was not 100%, and it showed. They would have probably beaten Milwaukee with a healthy James Harden, with a healthy, just alone on a healthy James Harden. But now, since James Harden looks good, he looks healthy, and that Brooklyn team is can get scary with just those two alone. Absolutely. And then you got Landry Shamet, you got Joe Harris, who can knock down a shot, and that team can be scary, man.
So just to look at the slate for today's games for the NBA, you have New York at my Philadelphia 76ers today. You have another good game with Brooklyn going to Chicago. That's going to be a good game. That's going to look at Minnesota at Memphis. You have New Orleans at Dallas. You got the Miami Heat at the Denver Nuggets. Get the Atlanta Hawks going at Golden State. We got the Phoenix Suns against the Sacramento Kings, and of course the Charlotte Hornets at the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, what games are y'all looking to see in this slate of games today on Monday night?
Next Bulls. That's gonna be an interesting game.
You mean Knicks Sixers?
Knicks Sixers are just as good.
That's gonna be the
Sixers just as good. Yeah, that's gonna be just as good. I mean, the Bulls in Brooklyn. That's gonna be pretty decent as well. The Hawks and the Warriors gonna be pretty good. And like I say again, don't sleep on Charlotte, man. Charlotte still can be good. They can play, man. LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges
in this game.
Miles Bridges, all them guys. Terry Rozier, PJ Washington. No, that's an interesting team.
Is LeBron playing in this game today?
LeBron's out for a couple of
I think he's out for at least a week.
A week? Oh, he's out for a week.
At least a week. So no, it matters if AD is going to be held. It's going to be
with the sickness. Right.
Yeah.
Well, as of right now, they're saying that Anthony Davis is day to day.
Okay.
Yeah. So LeBron James is out for tonight. LeBron James is out for tonight, and PJ Washington for the Hornets is day to day as well.
Okay.
So it's game time decisions probably for those two.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically.
The Hornets go if LaMelo is playing. I mean, that's really the real. If LaMelo's playing, I mean, Charlotte's got a chance. I mean, we saw when LaMelo's out. I mean, they almost sank right out of the playoffs. I mean, LaMelo won the Rookie of the Year for a reason. I mean, clearly, I think he's the best of the Ball brothers, and I mean,
all of them.
Charlotte's going to give them a fight. Charlotte's going to give the Lakers a fight.
Oh yeah, they're going to give them a good game. Oh, definitely. That's going to be a good game. Definitely.
Lakers by 12.
I mean, that would help them get themselves. That would help them get themselves
until Westbrook stops shooting 1 of 13.
Westbrook triple double tonight.
He's got to get to the basket more. That's what Russell Westbrook can be amazing and still get 30 points. He's got to get to the basket.
My only problem
that's shooting these awkward shots.
That's his bread and butter is getting to the basket.
I know.
That's Westbrook's bread and butter.
But he never played on a team with Anthony Davis and Carmelo Anthony.
I mean, but if you just, this is the reason why I think he can't get to the basket like how he could, because you look at the way defenses are actually playing him. Hey, they know he can't shoot. So if you try to do a pick and roll, what's the only thing you can do? Go under. Hey, you beat me outside all day long, but you not gonna hurt me getting to the basket. That's the way defenses are playing Russell Westbrook.
I had this issue with Westbrook in his game since he was at OKC, even when he was at UCLA. When he goes on a fast break, he is so uncontrolled. He can't. He cannot control his speed, and he goes down and he gets these terrible layups that he missed. And I'm like, bruh, calm down. You're going a bit too fast for yourself.
He did it the other night against the Thunder. He did the same thing.
Yep.
He was literally trying to drive to
he
the
be
basket.
moving real fast.
The ball went up in the air. I'm like, what are you doing?
But don't get me wrong. Don't get it wrong. Like Russell Westbrook, in a fast break, he's probably one of the fastest with the ball going down the court.
Yeah,
still got the speed.
Without question, he has crazy.
He just has to control that speed. Know when to pick up the pace. Know when to slow down the pace. And I think that's the only issue that he never addressed in his game since he's coming out of UCLA.
Yeah, that's all LeBron's got to help him with. I mean, LeBron in a fast-paced situation, and I mean, he's one of the best dunkers in the game. I mean, that's where having another veteran like LeBron can be an advantage to Westbrook. Help him control the basketball. It's cut down half his turnovers by stupid things that he does. That's why you have going to Los Angeles, having one of the best players ever right there with you at practice every day. Just learn. I mean, that's really adjust your game.
Right.
Agreed.
Right, absolutely.
I totally agree.
It's gonna be a great slate of games for the NBA tonight. I can't wait to watch my Sixers beat the Knicks. So we beat the Bulls back to back. We already got that 2-0 series.
Is that in Philadelphia?
With those Chicago Bulls, Mike. I love you, boy, but I'm just saying.
Is that in Philadelphia?
That game is in Philadelphia. Yeah, it's in Philly.
Yeah, that's usually the Knicks don't play well in Philadelphia, so they probably will, and especially given the way how well Philadelphia has been playing. Should be a win because I mean the Knicks should have won. They really on paper they should have beaten the Cavaliers and they didn't. So going to Philly with Philly playing well right now, I'm expecting a loss, but I still hope for a good game regardless because I mean we're two of the top teams in the East and I mean it's a dogfight when we both play each other.
It's going to be a fun matchup. Brooklyn and Chicago is going to be a fun matchup as well.
Absolutely.
It's going to be some fun games tonight for the NBA. So make sure y'all check out all those games, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go to the next topic, and I know Bishop is ready for this to go down. College football playoff. A lot of scores, a lot of upsets.
Hold up real quick. Real quick, I'd like to sit up and congratulate Coach and Doug on predicting those two upsets prior to it happening.
Spoilmakers.
Hold on.
Hey, North Carolina.
Hold on, Trey. I give it to Doug and Coach. I do. I even said I agree with Doug in regards to Purdue getting that upset. But don't sit here and act like y'all was not scared. Spotlight, Coach. When y'all seen Tulane do what they was about to do to Cincinnati, do not sit here. Y'all
Tulsa.
It was Tulsa, yeah.
I mean Tulsa. I meant Tulane. Tulsa almost upset Cincinnati. Do not, because y'all. I told y'all.
Upsets were in the air this weekend.
Bishop is just like Brandy said. Almost doesn't count.
No. So this is the thing, Spotlight. I hear what you're saying, but because of the way the college football playoffs are set up, it should count. It should, because they supposed to blow Tulane out. Tulsa. They're supposed to blow Tulsa out, and they didn't. That's why we're so.
It's been a lot of teams that could have been blown out, especially on that Oklahoma schedule that they didn't do.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's why we're 8. They made us 8 because we didn't blow out Kansas. They made us 8 because the game was too close against Tulane or Tulsa or whatever. No, we played Tulane or whatever. The same thing should happen with Cincinnati. They almost lost. Y'all talking about these close games that shouldn't be close. I feel like they should drop. That's my. I totally agree. Is that
another OU bias? So that's Oklahoma can move up.
I mean, that is fair.
I'm just saying.
Bishop shouldn't be mad because Bishop.
I like how Trey's looking up.
Oklahoma's right back in the college football playoff at number 4. So Oklahoma's number 4 in the college football playoff.
Are they at number 4? I haven't even seen it. Are they number 4 right now?
Okay, so we can go to the rankings right now. So the rankings that I have here is number 1 Georgia, number 2 Cincinnati, number 3 Alabama, number 4 Oklahoma, and then you have Oregon at 5. Ohio State at 6, Notre Dame at 7, Michigan State at 8, Michigan 9, and Oklahoma State
that's 8. That's AP. That's the AP.
Yeah.
That's AP though. Is that the college?
Yeah, college doesn't come out till tomorrow afternoon.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought the college and CFP.
Yeah, so AP.
tomorrow.
I thought it usually come out on Sunday night.
No, it used no. That's the
AP comes out.
on
Yeah,
Sunday.
CP comes out.
So
On
the
Tuesday.
actual come out tomorrow. The actual one come out tomorrow.
That's the rankings for AP. But y'all moved up to number 8 to number 4 in the AP poll.
Yeah,
that's how it should be. That's how it should be. I don't believe Oregon should be in no top 4. I don't believe Oregon should be deserved.
Alabama shouldn't either.
Alabama shouldn't either. They had a close game against LSU. They had a LSU game almost could have won should have won that game basically.
Absolutely. Say that, coach.
Yeah, Alabama's overrated. They clearly is overrated. They overrated,
one of
bro.
the worst teams Saban has had since he's been out there in Alabama, bro. Because that Alabama is not the Alabama old right now, bro. Coach Saban, that team is not. That team is not, and they should not be.
They're looking at the old. They're looking at the Texas A&M tape on how to beat Alabama.
Absolutely,
exactly how it is. You just have to look at that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I got a question: does UTSA get into the top 10?
They should.
They're the only undefeated team in the top 25 AP poll besides Oklahoma. Number 15.
They should.
They should be moved up a little bit more.
They should be moved up a little bit more.
Number 11.
They should break the top 10. My personal opinion, Trey, I feel like they should break the top 10. They just beat UTEP. They beat the brakes off UTEP on Saturday night. They torched them. They should be in the top 10 without question. They're 9-0. You gotta give them their props when props due, bro. They're 9-0.
It's a lot of teams in these rankings that have one loss that should be moved up as well.
Yeah,
agreed.
Because we got Louisiana at 8-1. We got Coastal Carolina at 8-1. You got Houston at 8-1, but Houston's ranked 17th. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of teams that's 8-1 that could be moved up as well.
Right. I totally agree. I can't wait for tomorrow night. Excuse me, to see the college football playoffs. Where they rank everybody after tomorrow night, because there were some upsets this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of hurts Oklahoma, because now Baylor did lose this weekend. They lost to TCU, and we have to play Baylor. So now that Baylor has 2 losses, it's kind of hurting us, because now Baylor is falling, and now we still got to play Baylor. So it's not going to help us any in regards to bringing us up. If Baylor would stay with that one loss, then kind of helps us in a way, but Baylor took an L on Saturday, so that hurt us. You know what I'm saying? I got to give credit where credit due. Doug and Coach, y'all said it. Purdue with that upset, it was well.
North Carolina had to come back and win that game against Wake Forest. They came back and won that game.
Wake Forest
came back. They came back and actually won that game.
Fell too. That's right. Wake Forest did fall to North Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah, I was really shocked about that one. I wish I was able to watch that game, but I was in the funny thing is I was helping my cousin move, and she's moving to North Carolina. And North Carolina beats Wake Forest. Ain't that my life? I was not able to watch that game. I'm like, darn. My cousin left for North Carolina on Saturday, and UNC beats Wake Forest.
So Doug, are you willing to go out on a limb to say that Purdue is going to spoil make with the Ohio State game? That's what I'm about to. I was like, look what Purdue has done all year. I mean,
they the upset team. They the upset team.
They knocked off Iowa. I mean, they've been knocking off all these teams, and they just knocked off Michigan State, who I felt like came off this high of beating the Harbaughs, and then they went to Purdue, and I'm just like, oh, they're gonna get their tails whooped. And
I'm so eager to see where they're gonna put Michigan State at now that they lost to Purdue. I'm so eager to see, because they was in the top 4. I'm
currently in the top 10 still.
In top 10, probably what? Probably 8. I'm gonna say 7 or 8 at least.
Yeah, they're dropping. Yeah, they're dropping out the top 5. They're not going to be even in the top 6. I don't believe.
Yeah,
I'm eager.
Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State.
It depends if they win out. If they win out and then other teams lose, like Oregon and Ohio State and stuff like that. So if the teams got 2 losses by the end of the week, I mean, we got to put Michigan up there at least near number 5 or number 6 at least.
Yep.
That's only if they win out, though. So if Michigan get another loss,
what I foresee is Alabama. Unfortunately, Alabama nor maybe Oregon, not falling out. They got Oregon has Utah and Oregon State left, and then the Pac-12 championship, which is going to even be Arizona and Utah again. Oregon's probably going to go ahead and hold that's whatever spot they're holding in the CFP right now. They're probably going to hold the rest of the year. The only thing that's going to happen is Alabama is going to probably end up playing Georgia, and then somehow, some way, they're going to still be in the top 4 with a win or a loss.
So you asked me about
Georgia's
Purdue before. So Purdue is going to Ohio State. And then here's the thing for Ohio State. After this Purdue game, they have Michigan State at home, and then they go to Michigan for the big game. So, I mean, is Ohio State overlooking Purdue?
I think that Ohio State's going to overlook Purdue.
Yeah.
At this point, they would. I wouldn't. I don't think anyone's overlooking Purdue at this point.
Purdue's had everyone's number this year.
Yeah.
It's a top-ranked team. Should not overlook that team. Granted, it's in Ohio State, so that I think that bodes well for them.
Right.
I think if they went to Purdue, Purdue would beat them. I think because this game is in Ohio State, I think they'll like nudge it out by like maybe a field goal. But at the same time, I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, Ohio State might be looking at the next 2 games as with Michigan State and Michigan coming up, and maybe you forget about Purdue and be like, they're unranked, but they should really pay attention because Purdue's been named the spoil makers this year for a reason, because that's all they've done to all these ranked teams is beat them. So I think Ohio State should and probably does win, but they better be careful.
So, I got a quick question. I just see Mr. CEO. What do y'all think about Jackson State and Deion Sanders?
I like what Deion is doing. You know, I'm gonna be honest. Deion was one of my idols coming up in when I was in school and watching college football and watching watching in the NFL. Like when Deion was in Florida State, man, I was a huge Florida State fan. That was my second team outside of Oklahoma because of Deion Sanders. He's doing a great thing. He's doing great things out there in Jackson State. It is being mentioned that Deion Sanders may possibly be getting a big. The Big 12 is looking at him to be a coach out in the Big 12. Because 2 teams are leaving the Big 12, and I think they end up getting 3 to 4 teams coming into the Big 12 once Oklahoma and Texas leaves to the SEC. I would love to see Deion get a team in the Big 12 as a coach. That would be great. I think he's doing great things for historic Black colleges and stuff like that. Being a coach, him and what's his name?
Eddie George.
Yeah,
doing great things. I'm rooting for Deion, man. I'm rooting for Deion. I really am, because I feel like he's a good coach. He's got 2 great athletes in his 2 sons. I'm looking forward to that. If that happens, I'm rooting for him.
He's changing the culture in Jackson State. He's definitely changing the culture there. And he has, even though he has it's Deion Sanders, I'm talking about, we know that he has his credentials to have people come in and talk to these kids about playing it to the next level. But he really cares about these kids, even though that his son plays for his football team. He treats his son like every other player on that team, and that's what I love about Deion Sanders being a head coach there.
Yep, definitely.
Absolutely.
Deion could have gone in there, and Deion could have been like, "Hey, I'm Deion Sanders. You listen to me." But I mean, Deion Sanders actually, he surprised me. He's done phenomenal. He's actually been a coach, and I mean, he's treating his kids like they're any other player on the team. And it goes to him. Actually, I don't want to say it's lowering his standards. It's him not taking himself so seriously and maybe lowering his ego to actually coach kids who it's like, wow, this is Deion Sanders who's coaching me. This is like the greatest cornerback who ever played. Good for Deion for accomplishing this and for building something there, because, someone with the star power of Deion, and we know he kind of had an ego back in the day, but you know what? He's checked the ego a little bit at the door to, help college kids learn, and the
game of football,
putting together not just a team, a program. That's really what you need to do. He's building a program there, and he's building a good culture. And you know what? Good for Deion Sanders for doing this, because you know what? He's done better than I think a lot of people expected him to do. And kudos to him. And you know what? Let's see how much more he can do going forward in the college level.
Yeah, he's definitely changing the culture of this team. And I like that mentality, man. I say I'm a father at home, but I'm coach on the field. I'm Coach Prime on the field. That's a big difference. Treating his sons like any other players on that football team, not cutting them no slack. You know, just showing him the leadership and the mentality. He's definitely changing that culture of Jackson State, and that's really a good football team. I watched a couple of their games. Hey man, that his sons can play, man. That defense is very good out there in Jackson State, man. So I just like the way he changing that culture and that being a great person in that Jacksonville State community, in that Jackson State community.
Yeah, his son that he got playing safety.
He's a boy. He can hit. That boy can hit, man.
That boy hit. He's a straight head hunter. That boy can play some ball, boy. He can play some ball. He can ball. He can ball out.
Which is opposite
from his quarterback son either. But what you about to say, Doug? He's totally opposite of Dion. You know,
Dion put people on an island. He wasn't much of a hitter, but he didn't need to be because he was he was probably the most.
He
was the best ball hawk. Who literally
his recovery speed was ridiculous.
Was
one of the
second
best
to none
ever in the league ever.
Second to none.
Yeah, I mean, but his son that's playing safety. That boy there is a head hunter.
He's a head hitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can hit, man.
And last but not least, UFC 268 went on this weekend. I'm gonna let Trey and Bishop. I'm not really into UFC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I am not a big. I mean, I watched some of it. Like I watched a little of the live reactions. Hammer's House from the Spotlight Sports Network. He did the live reactions and did the live stream of that. But I didn't actually watch the fight. So Bishop, Doug, or Trey, let us know what happened in the fight because I really didn't watch it.
Real quick, I like not to downplay UFC, but don't forget there was a huge fight this week. Canelo and Plant fought this weekend too, which was a big
knockout happened, if I'm not mistaken.
Knockout in the 10th. So
I totally forgot about the Canelo fight.
Yeah, Canelo and Plant fought on Saturday night. They both pretty much was at the same time. Both the UFC fight 268, I think it was, and the Canelo fight was the same time. Both of them was happening. Matter of fact, Canelo knocked him out right before the main event for the UFC fight. So it was crazy. So, but yeah, man. In regards to the UFC, Usman. He had boy, what is his name? I can't.
Colby Covington.
Colby Covington. Yeah. Canelo. Usman. He had him. I thought Usman was gonna get him out in the second round. He hurt him bad. He hurt Covington real bad. Covington was able to bounce back, but Usman was just too much for him, and it ended up winning by decision. It went the whole entire 6 rounds, and Usman won by decision.
It says the 5th round.
5 rounds. I'm sorry, 5 rounds.
Championship game or 5 rounds.
Yeah, 5 rounds. And so, but Usman won. Usman won that fight, but it was a great fight. I gotta give it to Covington. He came in there. He bounced back after that second round, knocked down twice. He got knocked down twice in that round, and I thought Usman was gonna finish him off, but Covington came back and was and put some punishment on Usman. Don't get it wrong. He made it a real good fight. It didn't look like he hurt him as much as Usman hurt Covington, but he laid some power punches. And this whole fight pretty much was stand-up fight the whole time. It was never really a on the ground type of fight. This was pretty much boxing of USC in regards to how that fight went. And mad shouts out to Usman, man, for getting that win over Covington in that UFC 268.
Yeah, it was definitely like he was saying, the caveat on what Sean was saying. It was a back and forth. Of course, like you said, he had a chance to finish him. What you're starting to see is a lot of where the like these top fighters aren't quick to finish a person or rush in uncontrolled because they see that they're shaking. He took his time. I think in this case it might have cost him a little bit because he couldn't finish him, or that just might have been Covington's grit in which he was able to withstand what came about. I think he might have won 1 or 2 in that decision, or but I think that that second round cost a 8-10. I mean a 10-8. So that gave him a advantage on the scorecard. But that basically was a good, that fight was a key fight. Not to leave out the women in the co-main event with Zhang and Thug Rose, where they Thug Rose was able to retain her championship belt. So UFC got this thing going on, not to take anything away from him.
So what was the decision in the Canelo fight? Canelo ended up winning that, correct?
Yeah, he ended up knocking him out. I mean, Killer Plant was winning the first 3 rounds. I mean, he was establishing the jab pretty well to start off the fight. And then Canelo, I think Canelo was figuring him out a little bit. And after that, Canelo started putting them left hook, right hooks upon him and stuff, going to the body, wearing them down. And in that 11th round, it just he hit Canelo hit him with a hook, knocked him down, and then Keller Plant was hurt for a long time in that 11th round, and then Canelo just finished him off. End up TKOing him on the ropes, but that was a good fight, man. Keller Plant won at least about 3 straight rounds in a row, and then Canelo just started figuring him out, going to the body, just was breaking him down, and it just upon them hooks started connecting, and it was the end of it. So now you got Canelo Alvarez as the undisputed, unified all the belts in that 168-pound division.
Absolutely.
This another big fight is going to come. Canelo versus David Benavidez. That's going to be a very good fight for Canelo Alvarez. So that's the probably the first 168-pound undisputed. He's got all the belts. He has 7 belts. Canelo Alvarez has 7 belts.
Right.
I think there's another fight coming up for the month of November. If not the 20th, I think Terrence Crawford is supposed to fight
this weekend.
Yeah, Terrence Crawford fighting Sean Porter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight too.
This weekend,
Sean,
I think
Sean Porter is a pressure fighter. He's a pressure fighter. That's gonna be an interesting fight.
It is. That's gonna be. That's this weekend. That's gonna be a real good fight this weekend. Real good fight. And
that's gonna be something that we definitely gonna talk about. Once that goes down. And I'm not really big on boxing and UFC like that, but I know something, but not much.
Yeah, I know a lot. I know some boxing. I just don't know too much of UFC. I touch on boxing. I can do boxing.
Oh, and wait, what's the fight y'all just talked about?
Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford.
Oh, that's not this weekend. I'm talking about Gervonta Davis and Rolando Romero this weekend.
He pulled out the fight. Rolando Romero pulled out the fight. Yeah, because issues. He had some issues with his girlfriend, so he pulled out the fight all around. I think they still trying to find a replacement for Gervonta Tank Davis. He pulled out the fight. Romero pulled out the fight.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, Thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I wonder who's going to take that.
What you call? They tried to take. It was 3 people that tried to take the fight, and I don't think Gervonta Tank Davis responded. Devin Haney tried to take the fight. Tried to get the fight. Gary Russell Jr. tried to say, "Give me the fight," and Regis Prograis trying to get the fight with him.
But Davis hasn't agreed to any of those people.
No, he hasn't really responded. And agreed to him. It's been talks on social media about them going at each other, him and Devin Haney. I would love to see that fight as well.
Haney's supposed to fight on the 4th of December 4th.
Yeah, he's supposed to fight
Joseph Diaz.
Yeah, that's going to be a good fight too. Him and Joseph Diaz.
That's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a very good fight.
I think.
Matter of fact, Gervonta Tank Davis hit up Diaz to try to pull him out that fight to fight Diaz. He hit up Jojo Diaz. He hit him up actually.
What? Yeah, Davis is 25-0 with 24 knockouts. Davis is no punk, boy. That boy can box. That boy can box.
Yeah.
And last but not least, to finish off week 9, we have Monday Night Football tonight with the Chicago Bears going into the Pittsburgh Steelers game. According to the matchup predictor, they have 68% of Pittsburgh winning this game. Now, I don't really know too much of the injury report when it comes to this game, but I know this is going to be a good match. This is good. It should be a good matchup. Now, it does say that in the last meeting, the Bears beat the Steelers 23-17. That was back in 2017 at Chicago. The Bears offense is ranked 32. They ranked 32 overall on offense, but they 5th in rushing, 32nd in pass, and 31st in scoring. The Bears defense is 15th overall, 25 against the run, 11 against the pass, 20th in scoring. Now for Pittsburgh, it's kind of like the same thing for Chicago. Now Steelers offense is 28 overall, 28 in rush, 16 in pass, 26 in scoring. The Steelers defense is 11th overall, 12th in rush, 13 in pass, and tied for 6th in scoring. Now, who do y'all have winning this game? Even though that Justin Fields is going to be playing in this game, and he's very a mobile quarterback. So, who do y'all have winning this game? I know it's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh don't look like a 4-3 football team. They just don't.
They don't.
But the Bears looks like what they are too. So, who do y'all got winning this game?
I got Pittsburgh winning this game. Most of the games they won, the Bills game, that they relied on their defense. That Seattle game, they relied on their defense to get the job done. I think they can get to Justin Fields, even though it's going to be a little bit of trouble with him being mobile. I think that defense is going to dictate the game. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I got it 13-20 Pittsburgh. I think Claypool is going to make a difference in this game. Najee Harris, a big running back, he will get some touches. They'll try to wear down that Chicago's defense. But at the end of the day, I got to go with the Steelers defense. The Steelers defense is hot. They have been playing some very, very good football. Watt has been very, very good. They still got Bush. Like I said, I got to try. I just can't trust in that offensive line of the Chicago Bears. That is the weak point, that offensive line. And I think that Pittsburgh defensive line, that pass rush is going to be effective against this Bears defense. Even though they both the same, really the type of team struggling scoring, but I have more trust in Pittsburgh's defense.
For me, it's hard to decide this game. I hear what Coach is saying, and by paper, I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers should win this game. But we just all see what happened this past Sunday with so many upsets, and it's just possible for the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields to come in here and get still a win in Pittsburgh. But like you said, Watt out there on the end, man, and then just. Man, you know what, man? I'm gonna pick the Steelers because the only reason I'm gonna pick the Steelers is because they playing at home. But I will not be surprised if Chicago comes in and gets the steal out of Pittsburgh. So I'm going Steelers.
I'm gonna go with the Steelers just as well. Just like Ricky Smith said, you can't bet against Mike Tomlin on on Monday night. So that's like the Steelers, you can't take away that defense of what it's becoming. You still got that man on the end, TJ Watt, that's going to apply pressure. So it's just going to be one of those things in which I don't think, even though of course you got a mobile quarterback in Justin Fields, but that's not enough. I don't know if he's back yet, but I heard Montgomery was supposed to be coming back off the IR, which can provide some help. He's
going to be activated tonight.
Yeah, so that can provide some of y'all. We all know the run takes a little something off the pass, which can be a help as well. But I don't think that Chicago's going to have enough at the end of the day. I got Pittsburgh by 10.
Yeah, it seems like it's a general consensus that Pittsburgh at home with TJ Watt, who has had at least one sack in every game except for one game this year, going up against Justin Fields. I mean, if Pittsburgh wins, they're in second place in that division, which is crazy because you think they don't look like a second place team, yet they potentially can be. I like Pittsburgh over Chicago. Plus, I mean, I want the Bears to lose because for the Giants, they get the Bears draft pick, and I just want Chicago to lose the rest of the year. So let's go Steelers.
Me personally, I said this on my Spotlight Sports Network NFL Week 9 morning show. I am going with the upset. I am going with the Chicago Bears.
What?
Say less. I'm going with the Chicago Bears just because Pittsburgh, even though TJ Watt is a good defensive player, but just offensively, they're still struggling on offense. Najee Harris is getting the ball out the backfield, but they can't run the football effectively. This offensive line is not great to protect Ben Roethlisberger. And Roethlisberger, he can step up in the pocket, but he can't do nothing when it comes to his arm. His arm, for me, his arm is getting shot. And Claypool is not having the best year. I mean, because Deontay Johnson is having a better year than him. I just feel like Ben Roethlisberger will be the reason that Pittsburgh will lose this game. I think Ben Roethlisberger will be in the fourth quarter and throw a pick to lose this game. I think Justin Fields will do whatever he takes to win this game, but they're going to manage him now since you got Herbert, you got David Montgomery coming back. Darnell Mooney, we cannot sleep on him at wide receiver. He's been doing really well for the Chicago Bears. So I like both teams. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh wins this game, but it's just something about Chicago. They've been in games, they've been competitive, could not get over the hump. And I think the Bears could do that against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hey, breaking news here, Spotlight. Joel Embiid is resting tonight and is out against the New York Knicks.
That'll be fine. We'll still beat the Knicks.
Just figure I'd throw that out there.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
I think they beat the Bulls the other night without him.
It's been times this year that we played without Embiid and won.
Yo, they just beat the Bulls without him.
Yeah,
I believe without Tobias Harris. It
wasn't the second game. It was the first game. The first game we didn't play. We beat the Bulls without him. So I'm not surprised.
I don't think Tobias played in that game either.
All I'm looking forward to in this game now, since that is breaking news, when Andre Drummond comes into the game, defense and rebounds. That's all I'm looking for him.
Yep.
And one thing about him, he's great against the pick and roll. So I'm not really mad that Embiid is sitting out tonight, even though that we just had a game on Saturday, and we didn't have a game yesterday. But still, I'm not worried about it. I'm not.
It's not an injury. It's just they're resting him on a back-to-back. So
yeah, of course. Typical NBA stuff, but
pretty much.
You know, the load management and everything of that nature. We that's another story for another time.
That's a whole nother story. Please know that is.
That is another episode of ASAP in the Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's been fun doing this show, talking about. We got through every topic today, from NFL, UFC, college football, Monday Night Football, boxing, all of that. Make sure you follow ASAP Sports Network, which is all sports, all plays on all social media platforms. You see it at the bottom there. Catch us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Roku, and Amazon as of right now. We are live on those channels as of right now, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you follow all on there. Make sure you go to asapsportsnetwork.com. Go get your merch. They got some crazy dope merch over there. Make sure y'all check them out. And for us, same thing for the Spotlight Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Our audio podcast is on Amazon Music and iHeartRadio as of today. So make sure y'all check it out on the Spotlight Sports Network. Spotlight Sports Network will have a show on ASAP at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with me and Jake the Snake Silver of the Snake Sports Talk Show. We'll be breaking down some of the hottest topics in Monday afternoon or Monday evening as well. So make sure y'all check out that. Any final words before we head out?
Now, another great show, another morning. I'm looking forward to doing this again tomorrow morning, man.
Y'all stay tuned, man. We coming to y'all with all the heat when it comes to sports, man. So be sure to check us out every morning here at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're out here in the Texas area, that's what we do out here, man. ASAP.
10 a.m. in Jersey. 10 a.m. in Jersey.
Yeah, 10 a.m. in Philly, too.
That's right.
Be sure to continue to catch us this week, especially let me hear from y'all. Veterans stand up. It's Veterans Veterans Day on Thursday, so we gonna go ahead and hit this off with a Veterans Week. Celebrate y'all. I holla.
All right, we see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. Make sure y'all are here for that, and we are out of here, y'all. Peace, love, and blessings, and we out.
Roll, fight.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.